Enough. I have endured more than enough. I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya.
Greetings, Royal Court. Today I have a video of a bunch of bosses I killed in Elden Ring. Here's a quick list. I'm only really showing the winning attempts because most bosses only took 2 attempts, or it'd be too boring to watch every attempt, and there aren't that many funny ones. I'll be giving some commentary here and there, but mostly it'll be just my live reaction from the fights and the audio from the fights. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. First on the chopping block is Midra, the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Even though I am the Lord of Frenzied Flame, because that's still from last ending. Last ending I did in this playthrough was the Frenzied Flame one, and I think I still have the eyes, you know. But his design is actually amazing. It's so beautiful, and I really enjoyed the fight. All of his attacks were fun to learn, and they were pretty fair. The fact that you get madness build up didn't really bother me at all, because I don't think throughout any of my attempts on Midra it actually procced, so that really wasn't a nuisance. Also, Midra has a grab attack, which if you haven't seen that, you should probably go and fight Midra yourself and maybe get that to happen. I don't think it happened in this playthrough, this attempt, but the grab attack is so brutal and sick if it happens to you, and his soul, or his remembrance, can be turned into his weapon, and then the grab attack is the weapon art. Only thing is that it only works really on humanoid enemies, and you know, most bosses are not humanoid enemies. But I really enjoyed this fight. I hope you will when you go fight him yourself. That's all I really have to say about Midra. Next up over here is Swordmaster or Sword Fighter, or whatever he's called, Onze, whatever you want to call him. You know, he's a pushover. He's not really anything special. He reminds me of Yoda because he's actually small and it's very agile and fast. But I really love his sword and his moveset about the sword. The reward of this boss fight is sadly enough not his sword. It's a summon for Sword Fighter Yosh, I think it's called. But you can actually get his sword. It is dropped by a different boss. I think it's Demi-Human Queen Marilla. But she drops the Starline sword, which is the sword that Anza is using. But it sadly does not have the full same weapon set, you know, where the one he pushes the sword into the ground and all of the slashes appear just like Malekith does with the Black Blade. The only moveset that is copied with the sword that you get is the one where he TPs all over the place and does a few slashes, you know. For the rest, the weapon really isn't that interesting, and neither is the boss. Going to the next one. Well, he's called the Golden Hippopotamus fight, but he's neither golden nor really looks like a hippopotamus because he has a rhino nose. But this is actually a stupid boss. First of all, this was done before the most recent patch, and in the most recent patch they nerfed him a little bit because his opening grab attack basically almost always grabs you and you can't get out of it. But later he does go into second phase, which is nice because a lot of bosses don't actually, a lot of field bosses don't. But then he just turns into a hedgehog, you know, which is also not a hippopotamus, but so what, I guess. This actually did turn out to be quite a troublesome fight. And a little fun fact, I actually did this boss after killing Mesmer because I didn't know that there was another way to enter the castle. I originally entered the castle via the side entrance over here, but well, the golden hippopotamus, he actually protects the main entrance. I didn't know about it until one of my friends told me and he asked me, did you even kill this boss? There is, in the field, or just in the open world, you can find 3 more of these, or 4 more of these versions, who all drop a Shadow Tree fragment. So, and so does this boss, you know, he also drops a Shadow Tree fragment. For the rest, nothing that interesting. On to the next one. I didn't really plan on putting this boss in because he's a field boss and I accidentally encountered him. Alpha, more like Ruler Alpha. Fighting him, I realized, oh, this guy has a funny name, which I can make a funny joke out of. Then really, in hindsight, it wasn't really that funny, but here we are now. This boss drops a headpiece which I was wearing throughout the previous fights, so actually chronologically the video is wrong, but I don't really care. This is one of 2 Great Red Beers because this is Ralva, and if I'm correct there is another one. His name is... Well, his name is Rugaleia, the Great Red Beer. But this one drops a headpiece to wear which boosts bear incantations. And Rugaleia drops the Roar of Rugaleia, which is a bear incantation. Not really that interesting of a boss fight, just your normal rune bear. Same moveset, only 1 or 2 maybe extra attacks, nothing interesting. Now we have the Curseblade Labyrinth. I guess Labyrinth is his name, or maybe that's the full typing for the enemy. Basically, that's the guy with the 2 circular weapons. He's new, he was teased and a bunch of stuff. He's annoying as fuck. Basically, he's just an ordinary enemy you can find anywhere. And he doesn't drop anything interesting, and I hate him a lot. Now for a little bit more interesting of a boss fight. The Ancient Dragon Man. We encounter each other once more. Before you even get to this area where you fight him, it's a whole dungeon you have to clear. But before you even can access the dungeon, he invades you actually. And as you can see, this Ancient Dragon Man is in dragon form. And you can actually get the Dragonstone yourself. You have to... well, the Dragonstone is a painting reward. There is 2 dragon forms that I know of, which is this one, the Dragon Man, and I guess Dragon Female is there as well, because the friendly NPC, Dragon something something Communion Lady, you can actually get her Dragon form stone as well after killing Bale. So, you know, that's very interesting. The weapon that this boss drops is the Dragon Great Katana, and it's a very good weapon, especially just for Bale, because Bale is a dragon, and the Dragon Katana has a anti-dragon effect. What that basically means is it does like 120 million more damage % against dragons, so it's very good for that. Ancient Dragon Man, fall in front of the power of strength. I clearly did this boss fight on my first try. Next up is Romina Saint of the Bud. What the Sigma? Hey guys, remember that one boss from Dark Souls 1 and that other boss from Dark Souls 2? Yeah, we added another one, guys. So yeah, as I'm clearly saying, both in Dark Souls 1 and in Dark Souls 2, you have the ladies who are half insect and half lady. You know, in Dark Souls 1, you had Firebug Lady, Quelaag, and you had in Dark Souls 2 that Scorpion Lady, Nachka, and well, now in Elden Ring we have Romina, Saint of the Bud, the Purple Lady. She triggers Scarlet Rod fairly easily because half of her attacks are infused with Rod, and the attack where she comes from upwards and down, pins you to the ground, I'm guessing is actually like 1,000,000% Scarlet Rod proc. Her moveset is quite troublesome because she moves around a lot and she rolls a lot, and basically it's like you're fighting two bosses at the same time because the caterpillar sometimes moves on its own and Romina sometimes moves on her own. So, you know, very cool. Romina also has this girly pop attack, which summons these butterflies who explode in more Scarlet Rod and Scarlet damage. Overall, decent, good boss. It was actually pretty fun. Her Remembrance, her spell is actually very handy against Radahn, which I will be using. It's also needed to kill this boss in order to even access the final area where you can defeat Radahn, because behind her boss arena is the tree you have to burn with Mesmer's Flame in order to uncloak the Annihilium. The rest design is, I guess, good. You know, it's a little throwback to DS1 and DS2. Attacks are fairly easy, but I think I had the most clutched up moment ever in Elden Ring history. Well, which you will now enjoy.
Waarom loopt hij niet weg?
Ik ben out of healing.
Ik ben exact 1 HP, dat is crazy. Ik leef, shit. Oh.
Kom aan, het is letterlijk one hit. Ja. En nu ga ik dood. Wacht. Oh! Oh my god. The last boss in the boss rush video is the Putrescent Knight, which is the Knight of Saint Trina. As you can clearly hear in the background, there was one of my friends which was in the call, and he was doing Radahn while I was fighting all of these bosses. So yeah, sometimes you can hear him complain, but now I am the one complaining against Radahn, so... the Putrescent Knight, his blade, he throws it a lot, so I was actually under the impression that once you get his Remembrance and his blade, you can throw it, but no, it's not, it's just a curved blade. The thing about this Putrescent Knight is weird, I guess, but he's also nothing special. He's pushover, he does hit pretty heavy, but to be honest, it's nothing special. However, his attacks made me feel like I was in a fucking Metroidvania bullet hell type of game, because all of his attacks were, well, some of his attacks, sorry, with the blue flames, makes you think that you are in a bullet hell, because you actually have to like dodge and jump incoming attacks, which are not coming from the knight himself, but actually from the arena. Which is, it's cool, it's unique, and I actually kinda like it, so, no, you know, nothing to complain about. And then also, nothing else to say about him.
Sorry, but I've seen through all of your moves. You're already dead.
Oh my god, and the final hit of the stagger? Beautiful! Yeah, and I did finish him pretty beautifully with the final attack being on the stagger. Very nice. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. This was Video Alpha, signing off.